Hello to my Padawans, I'm your Jedi Master today, and I'd like to welcome you guys to my full review over the Nintendo Switch version of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Now, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 was originally released back in 2004, and famously had a very time development crunch cycle of only 14 months that caused the team over at Obsidian to have to cut much content and write out several of the subplots. This resulted in a very buggy game and a very unfinished game being released. However, over the years, many fans have considered it to be a hidden gem. Thankfully, the fans did pick up and support it by releasing things like the Restored Content mod, the KOTOR 2 community patch, and several texture mods in order to give this game a brand new life. Now we have the Knights of the Old Republic 2 on the Switch with the promise of the Restored Content DLC coming back. This will be the first time that the Restored Content mod has been released on the consoles, and will be the first time that the game has an official completion. Now let's jump into the review over the Switch version. The Switch version of this game is broken. It has the exact same bugs, the exact same issues that the original release does. Additionally, it seems like we are not getting the Restored Content patch or DLC until many months in. And with that being said, the original save files will not work with the Restored Content mod, meaning that you will have to start anew if you want to play with the brand new content. This is a very peculiar decision, as it seems like Aspyr didn't really have all their chips in play. It seems like they just wanted to rush out this release, and that is never more evident than the fact that the game has been shipped with additional bugs. There have been bugs where the game has crashed on planets like Duxon and Onderon. There are many bugs pertaining to the textures being frozen solid, even if they move, which I notated with the force cage that Atten is in at the very beginning of the game. Additionally, the brightness is overboosted by default. You actually have to turn it down, and the gameplay that you are seeing right now that I captured myself has actually had it turned down to 20% of its original stated brightness. While there are many good things, including the textures being upscaled to where they look pretty decent, and the fact that the cutscenes themselves have been made into a native 16:9 aspect ratio, it does seem like there are many other issues that are being prevalent. For instance, the black bars that happen during the in-game dialogue sections are extreme, more extreme than the PC version of the game. It is somewhat interesting, as they did develop the mobile version, and the mobile version did not have this same issue. I am not sure why so little of the screen real estate is being utilized. I am also not sure why so much of the screen real estate is being taken up by essentially what is the text box. They have not fixed many of the bugs, including the bugs where the black boxes do not come down. I personally have not gotten this glitch yet, as it is a rather random glitch to get. I have notated it though in many other people's videos. The fast dialogue or the dialogue skip bug has not been addressed. Perhaps the most infuriating bug, as it skips major points of the dialogue and breaks animations. One other notable major bug is that the sound sometimes does not play the correct voiceover lines, or does not play the voiceover lines at all, as notated in the prologue section of the game. The tutorial voiceover does not voice many of her own parts. With that being said, that's not the end of the audio issues, as it seems like several of the cutscenes also have this issue where the audio is just clipping. It is very loud and it is obviously distorted. I'm not sure why, I'm not sure what got broken during this, and I'm not sure why it has not been addressed yet. One of the most unforgiving bugs that I actually did manage to run into, unfortunately I was not recording, it seems like my recording software decided to stop before this, is the same game-breaking bug that ended up making me to stay in this game for a little bit of time back whenever I was a very young child. And that is the bug that if you destroy the terminal that is supposed to open the airlock on Paraga Station, it will just soft lock you inside of the game. It will not open up that airlock and you will not be able to proceed any further in the game. You either have to roll back a save, which thankfully I did have a save present, or you will have to restart from the beginning. One of the other most major game-breaking bugs that I noticed is that there is a moment of time where on Duxon, the game can periodically freeze. I actually have not gotten this myself. However, I did notate one of my viewers mentioning this along with the crash that was presented to her. To me personally, these issues are unacceptable. Aspyr has really messed this one up. I don't understand one other issue, and it's something that I had a gripe with the original game's port, and that's the lack of hair physics. The Xbox version had hair physics, as did the PC version and the mobile version. I'm not sure why the hair physics were excised in both of these versions, but I'd very much like to see them make a return, especially inside of Knights of the Republic 2, as they do play a bigger role inside of the game. Once again, I am not entirely sure why these issues are so prevalent. I am not sure why Aspyr opted to not fix anything despite having the source code, which they would need in order to, one, format it into 16:9, and two, move it over to a brand new platform. There's actually no way that they could not have the source code in order to move it over to the Nintendo Switch. It would actually be physically impossible. That being said, I do understand that some of the issues prevalent are not Aspyr's fault. Obviously, the unfinished story is not their fault. It is also not Obsidian's fault. That falls squarely on old school LucasArts. I'm not going to deign it for that. Now let's actually talk about Knights of the Republic 2, since this is a full-blown review. Knights of the Republic 2 is an absolutely fantastic game, of course, and I feel like it has the most personal story out of any Star Wars video game that has been released. It's this very human look at a not superhuman kind of franchise. It talks about many dark themes, including PTSD, the mortality of the Jedi, and the nature of the Force. It has a lot of gray areas. Kreia is an extremely interesting character, if not infuriating during certain scenes, purposefully so, because she does not like acts of ruthless interrogation or acts of hopeful peacefulness. She prefers to see between the lines. Many of the subplots in the game revolve around the main character, Mitra Surit, who has been exiled from the Jedi Order due to following Revan to battle during the Mandalorian Wars, and had committed atrocities so extreme that it had actually cut off her connection to the Force. Many of the subplots also revolve around her time during the Mandalorian Wars and what she actually did. I think the most interesting subplot inside of the entire game is the one that relates to Mandolore himself, as Mandolore is actually Canderous Ordo of the Ordo clan, who plays a role in the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Now, of course, if you do not have the restored content mod, you will not see many of these scenes. However, it is heavily notated inside of the game that Revan told him to form the Mandalorian clans back for whenever he returns. I think that this is absolutely interesting subplot, and I really do enjoy it. I really hope that it is included in the restored content DLC. Now let's talk about the restored content DLC real quick. Now, of course, as I said, the game is actually broken. And the fact of the matter is that Aspyr may not even fix it. If they do, it will be with the restored content DLC. I am heavily against both of these decisions because we do not know when the restored content DLC will be coming out. And it means that they purposely shipped out a broken version of the game, even more broken than the original release. This does not sit well with me, as it sets a bad precedent for their future releases. I think, me personally, we all need to voice our dissatisfaction for this. All I have seen online are many different reviews praising it because it is simply Knights of the Republic 2, not really talking about the port at all or Aspyr's laziness in regards to the port. I think that we need to make it known that Aspyr has really screwed the pooch and really needs to address this and to make sure it does not happen again. With that being said, guys, I do not think that you shouldn't play this version of the game. If you only have a Nintendo Switch, you should absolutely at least experience this game, even with all of its issues, all of its crashes, all of its bugs. This game is absolutely worth it, and I would highly recommend it to anybody, at least for one play. However, for those that do have an alternative method to play, like the PC version or even the original Xbox version, I would absolutely recommend it. That being said, I do think that the best way to play it if you do not have a PC is absolutely the Xbox Series X at the current time. And with all that being said, guys, I think I am going to give my final verdict. Can I recommend Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2 on the Switch? I cannot. I am going to give this port 4 lightsabers out of 10. It is a below average port. It is really been done dirty, and the fact that this is now the 3rd time that the game has had this happen to it, I feel that it is unacceptable. As far as the game itself, I will give it the highest honors of a 9.5 out of 10 in its current state. When the restored content patch does come out, and with the restored content mod on the PC, it is absolutely a 10 out of 10 game. So, if you guys did enjoy this, please give this video a big like. It does help out a lot. Tell a friend today about my Star Wars channel, because it's pretty awesome. And may the Force be with you. Always.